Previously on Chosen Ones, Wynn comes to wake up our four Sparks after a rather unrestful evening, inviting them to breakfast before their first day of training. Estel escorts them to the library so they can begin their lesson, only to run off shortly after, leaving them wide open for attack from several unknown shadowy figures. They quickly deal with this threat easily as Estel returns to clear up the confusion that still hangs in the air.
Break me down, we keep fracturing, so you'll forget your place and never find grace. Fly me away before the floods of pain, so we will lose our wings within the storm. Breathe me in, take what's left of me. I lose my mind to fate, I cannot disgrace. Heart beating hard, erase your belief. I will destroy what's left, no matter where. Give it the two, I need the shadow in this sea. Come to the page, the curtains rising soon.
Master Estel, you know this guy?
He is one of the attendants of the library, yes.
And Erm's just like, don't talk about me like I'm not here. You didn't tell me we were having anyone in.
That's because you weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah, why'd you attack us?
Because you're intruders.
We're not intruders!
If you had listened to us.
They're not. They're with me.
Erm is like shaking a little bit, like not like nervously, like very obviously angry and upset. Why didn't you tell me? You know I'd come here.
On your days off?
And Erm is just shaking even more now.
How tall is Erm?
Erm is 3 feet tall.
Shui kind of crouches down a little bit. Look, I'm sorry if I hurt you or scared you.
You didn't scare me. Don't crouch down. That's offensive.
Oh, sorry. And then
Literally, specifically what you're not supposed to do to somebody short.
he stands up really straight. He's like, oh, sorry. Like he's like army, like attention.
Why don't you go attend to the studies upstairs? I think you've caused enough damage down here for today.
Is kind of looking around between you and Estel, still very clearly upset, before they start kind of wandering over towards her, brush very strongly against her, clearly trying to like knock her over, and she just doesn't move. You need to tell me things, it's my job.
And he goes off screen. She's looking at you, Shui, and is just like, did your group do all right?
What do you... None of us are hurt.
None of you? Oh, I'll need to talk to then.
I do have 1 hit point off.
Avayath does have 5. He took a little bit.
Is supposed to be more of an alarm system than a defense system, so I suppose he did his job the best he could.
Shui kind of tilts his head and he's like, well, he was pretty loud.
Yeah, he was, yes. I heard him a bit. I was up too high on the shelves to come any faster. Figured you'd be fine.
Shui kind of looks around this room. What's in here?
This just appears to be like a little private study. There's some very old books and things kind of locked away underneath that desk. Besides that, it just appears to have like some papers and general filing cabinets.
Are you done looking for what you were looking for?
Yes, I got my materials.
Oh, okay. Shui says as he's like backing up, and he just hops down.
Why don't you roll an athletics check for me?
Thanks, Ripley.
No problem.
Okay, let me roll. 21.
21. Yeah, you're fucking
He
fine.
backflips off the railing.
You cocky little bastard. You see Estel kind of come up to the edge here, and she looks down at you with a double meaning there, and then keeps...
Real subtle.
Are you coming, Avayath?
Yes. Just right behind you.
Brandy looks over to Theo and is like, you alright, partner?
I was about to ask you that.
I'm fine. I'm big and hearty. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty okay.
You see Draga's little hands coming out and gripping the side of the desk, and she's like, is it over? Is he gone?
Oh, I forgot you were there.
Are your rocks alright? I recall you were worried about them.
Oh, yes, they're fine.
Yeah, thanks for the help in that fight there.
Estel kind of comes up to your group and is just like, you can all take a seat. We'll begin today's training. I apologize for the miscommunication.
Brandy stands.
I said you could sit.
Theo pats the chair next to him.
I'm alright. I can stand. It ain't a big deal.
Oh, well, then I want to sit next to Theo.
Theo smiles at Shui.
We'll be here for a while. Are you sure you don't want to sit down?
I'm used to standing for a while. I'm good.
Okay, just take care of yourself.
And she'll kind of start setting her papers down.
Shui's like sitting up in his chair, trying to like peek at the papers, but I'm sure he can't see anything, so.
Is it just me that is picturing him sitting like cross-legged on the chair, like,
Oh, I
you know,
love
like
that.
he would sit on the
Oh, that's
ground,
cute.
but
Yeah, oh, that's cute. Yeah, he's doing that.
yay.
So Estel's kind of arranging her papers on the desk in front of her, and she takes the candle that she has and holds it in front of her in her hands and looks up to everyone and is just like,
Now then tell me, if you had to summarize what a chosen one was, how would you do so? Anyone is free to answer.
A chosen one is someone born for greatness. Someone who will make a difference in the world.
Estel kind of nods at that.
And if you had to summarize what a spark was?
Master Dashi said it's what makes a chosen one special.
That's one way of putting it.
She holds up that candle a little bit higher and kind of waves her hand over it. Very simple magic, just lights it instantly.
Sparks are a flicker of potential, a flame raised above the wick, so to speak. They have the ability to fuel a chosen individual for a substantial amount of time with great power, beyond the understanding of even the gods. But this stand can only hold one candle, and only a single flame can reach the wick. And when that candle depletes and the flame goes out, a new candle will replace the old, and another flame has a chance at the wick.
And then she blows out the candle at the end of this explanation and looks back up at you all.
This is the best way I have found to describe what we are and what happens when the torch is passed on. The wick might still remain, there might be some remnants of wax, but there is no possibility to become a chosen one again afterwards. So if you are the spark that stokes the flame, make sure you use your time well before it's gone.
And she sets the candle down.
You can see Avayath trying to process that information with his tiny brain, having no idea what's going on.
You can also see Shui leaning over to Theo like, hey, did you get that?
It's kind of like with the candle, it's like we're matches and we have potential to light that candle.
Oh, Theo, wow, you're so smart.
It was a fun little explanation, so.
He is smart. He went to college.
He rubs the back of his head, embarrassed.
You went to college? Impressive.
I did. Yes, I did. Not that impressive, though.
Hey, Master Estel, did you go to college?
She flinches a little bit at that and she's like,
Mentor, Estel, please.
Ah, right.
No, I did not go to college.
she is squinting a bit at you.
It's really not anything special, it's just a thing that I did.
I gained my experience from real-world experiences, not going to some school.
See, exactly.
That's a valid way of gaining experience as well.
Anyway, does anyone know the history of the first chosen one?
Fuck, do I?
Can we do a history check?
You
Yeah.
can do history checks if you would like.
Ooh, 21.
I got a 15.
So you would know that the first chosen one was someone named Carmentis. They were also the first cleric, and that they died on the battlefield. Both of you know that. You would know, Theo, that Carmentis specifically appeared as the first chosen one because the two main deities at the time, Solari and Dara, were fighting over who essentially had custody over Winona, who was a new god at the time. And that fighting caused a lot of infighting amongst their followers, which resulted in Carmentis, the first chosen one.
I believe the first chosen one was also the first cleric. Carmentis, sort of resulting of the gods fighting?
Yes, they were a shadow fae, like myself. They appeared during the war in the sky to help save those who were injured from the wrathful war of the moon and the sun. They were considered the first cleric and, of course, the first chosen one.
And they died on the battlefield, right?
Yes, they died.
Squints, wait, insight. I gotta insight this. I gotta. 14.
14?
I'll also insight just for funsies. I don't have a very good insight. I have a +2, but I'll do it anyway. 7.
She's hard to read.
Even to Theo.
Yeah, she's pretty hard to read. She's been very straight-faced this whole time.
Well, Theo's kind of... With the circumstances of this place, Theo has reasons to be suspicious of people now, so he's going to be suspicious, but, you know. He won't say anything, though. He'll just kind of... He'll, have, a... he opens his mouth to speak, and then he closes his mouth, and just clamps back up.
Is that all that you know about Carmentus?
I mean, I could go into depth, I guess.
No, if those are the main talking points, then that's probably all you know. History books paint Carmentus as a figure of great wisdom and strength. The best parts of them were highlighted and shown the brightest in the world, but my lessons are not ones that discuss what historians felt were the good points to leave in. I'm here to discuss with you all the bad parts that don't make it onto the page.
Oh, good.
She kind of grows more serious, and her face darkens, and she says,
What we talk about behind these walls does not leave. You do not mention what I say to anyone, mentor, friend, partner. Absolutely not a soul. I am training you to be better, not to go into this with naivety that leads to the past repeating itself. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Nods quickly.
Estel looks to Draga, who just starts to immediately shake her head yes. And then she looks to Avayath.
Avayath shakes his head yes under his clanging helmet.
You hear clunk, clunk, clunk. She turns her eyes to Brandy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And she continues and says, Carmentus was the first chosen one, that is true, but they were also the first fallen one.
The what?
It's something that people don't like to talk about. I wouldn't be surprised if not a single one of you have heard of it before.
I feel like by the name it's not self-explanatory per se, but not good.
That would be correct. During their struggles on the battlefield, the pressure of healing so many overwhelmed them. They were a follower of Solari, and seeing their friends and family killed by the followers of Dara eventually caused their good intentions to be lost. They wanted to do something more impactful in their mind than heal the wounded just for them to rush in to die. So on top of being the first cleric, Carmentus was the first warlock and the first necromancer.
So the power that Carmentus had morphed?
It changed. Just like your sparks have the ability to change, so do Chosen One's abilities.
So, are there any books on this that we could read, perhaps?
They've all been lost.
She's kind of going through these papers in front of her. And as you look, they seem to be scribbles, like almost like drawings. And you see images of like a very bright figure, like an outline. And some of them, they appear to have these like very small horns, and others they appear to be like massive and like almost like dripping, and it starts to be like colored in with black. The paper appears to be very, very old, and she's kind of touching them as she looks them over.
You'll notice in our studies that a few short years after Carmentus died, fiends and fae were discovered. That is not an accident by any means. The creation of warlocks created an unfathomable wave of people trying to grasp power for their own. They didn't know yet that what Carmentus had was special as a chosen one and not something anybody could properly contain. Many made deals with things that were less than savory to try to get to that level. I don't blame the world for trying to forget this point in history ever happened.
Brandy pulls at his scarf a little.
I think it's important for people to know so that they can learn from the mistakes of the past. If chosen ones are told they can do no wrong...
It is important that chosen ones know, I agree. That's why we are doing these studies. But the general public doesn't need to be aware of this. We can just make sure that the next ones are trained to be better. The last thing that we need is more animosity towards Sparks.
Wait, didn't the killing stop?
They did, yes. They could always come back, though.
Shui sweats a little bit. And he's like, but whoever did it, they're probably like super old now, right? So maybe we're safe.
She kind of glances up at you, and is just like, it was not a single individual. There's no possible way it was. Dozens of Sparks were killed on the same day, across the globe.
An organized attack.
And it didn't stop with just one day. It went on for weeks. It went on for months. That's why the Chosen Few was originally established. It's also why it disbanded. After the slaughter of the Sparks stopped and the Prime War began, people didn't see a need for us to hold them here anymore, I suppose.
Should we be worried that we're being held now? I mean, Peter already sort of, I guess, warned or instilled fear into us. So, should we be especially worried?
She makes a face when you mention that Peter's said something at all. And crosses her arms at that and is just like, I'm sure Peter is doing what he thinks is best, but...
That's what he said about you.
Okay.
The tea's getting spilled tonight.
At this point in time, I don't think it is a good idea to discuss the details of why we decided to re-establish this group. Just know that you are safe here. I extended the offer for you all to come here to find the next chosen one. I was honest in that regard. And for your protection, and for you to train and get better. That was all the truth. I didn't lie. I understand being suspicious of our intentions. I wish there had been someone, when I had been the chosen one, to teach me what I was supposed to do, so you should all be grateful that you have that.
Do we know anything about Ethel?
You can do a history check if you want.
Well, you know, that one.
You know that you know that the mentors were all chosen ones. You know that already.
Okay.
With a nat 1, you can't really recall at this time what it was that she did, essentially.
Okay.
Do I know anything about this though?
Roll a history check.
21.
20? Oh, damn. So you would know that Ethel, during her time as a chosen one, was known as the Starry-Eyed Fae. You heard whispers of her abilities to see up to a full year into the future. She was considered very formidable because of that, because no one could ever get the jump on her, essentially. But during her time as chosen one, she was incredibly busy. She was the chosen one during the Wrath of the Elements, which is when all the elemental gods were born. And there were just huge natural disasters and earthquakes and tsunamis and all that, that she had to essentially predict and try and get people to believe were going to happen, because they didn't know she was the chosen one yet, until the first natural disaster started to hit. And then they were like, oh. You would also know with a 21 that she is said to have started a cult while she was the chosen one, known as the Lasting Eye, that is still active. That is all that you know about her, though.
Brandy makes a face.
Mentor Ethel, how'd you know you were the chosen one?
She kind of looks up in thought for a moment, kind of mulling that over, and it's just like, sometimes you don't know until it's too late. It's hard to tell. When you can do something that absolutely no one else would be able to do in a million years, it becomes more obvious. People like Wynn had very easy, I guess, triggers to be able to tell what was happening. Mine started as dreams that eventually evolved into visions that eventually evolved into an ability I could control, but it wasn't all at once. It wasn't I woke up and I was the chosen one. It was a very gradual change. Sometimes it's instantaneous and sometimes it takes time.
Shui kind of sits back in his chair and thinks a little bit. really a little bit, and I stress a little. And he's just like, my spark, doesn't seem like something a chosen one would have.
Theo nods in like agreement of like, mine either, pretty much.
Yeah, and I ain't got one, so yeah.
You do. Arthur has the ability to detect sparks. He says that you have one. I believe him.
Well, then I have no idea what it is.
I'm sure it'll come out soon, Brandy. Don't worry.
Jagga, what's your spark?
She's busy. She doesn't seem like she's been paying attention. She's clacking 2 rocks together.
I can make rocks! I can make rocks spark when I click them together.
Real contender here.
She looks up and wow, she talking to me?
Well, he corrects himself. Mentor Estel, says that we all have sparks. So what's your spark?
Oh, I can control stoves.
With your hands?
No. She sets down one of the rocks that she's been claying together, puts it down on the ground, and kind of waddles a few steps back, and then just goes, and that rock just goes and extends to about a 5-foot boulder.
Oh, Christ.
Whoa! Shui like stands up in his chair. He's like, that's so cool!
Oh my goodness, that is certainly something.
I wish I could do that.
You hear her like crawling up the side of it. And she just kind of sits on it, and is kind of looking up, and she's like, it's really dusty up here. She's looking at some of the higher shelves. And then Estel's just kind of looking. She's definitely destroyed the chair she was sitting in. And just clears her throat a little bit, and it's just like, now is not the time for demonstrations, Miss Draga. And Draga just goes, oh, and claps again, and the rock shrinks back down to a pebble, and she kind of like hits the ground.
I like to imagine, since Avayath is right there, that he got smushed up against the window.
Cool. Oh, so cool. Oh, great. Love it, Draga.
I'm gonna have that actually happen. He's just like, please give me a warning next time.
You asked what my spark was.
Yes, but if I knew that it would ram over me, would have been nice for a warning is all.
Oh, okay. Here's a warning. No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't know. I'm kidding. Are there any other questions before we continue?
Do you really think any of us could be the chosen one?
I think it's quite possible.
Shui looks at Yaya.
I think it's probable.
Actually, Shui, roll an insight check since you were the one who asked that question.
10.
10? For a moment, you think that you saw her eyes flicker towards one of you in particular, but you weren't paying enough attention to know who.
His eyes flicked to Avayath.
So she talks for a little bit more about 𝒸𝓅𝓃's, expanding a bit on the details of their downfall, essentially. Someone who started with very good intentions, who eventually seemed to have gone down a darker path with time, mostly due to how brutal the war was at that time. And she provides a lot of details that seem very detailed, like almost like a first-hand account. And she kind of starts to finish up the lesson for the day and says, if I haven't made it clear, fallen ones are chosen ones that have lost their way and become corrupt. They have turned their initial spark into something darker than its original purpose. It is a rarity, but it has devastating effects. After all, there is no one who can oppose the power of a chosen one.
Theo gulps and worries about himself. He's like, oh, if I am the chosen one, like, I hope I never do anything bad like that. Is basically what he's thinking. And he's also trying to brainstorm, like, how the heck would my spark be turned evil? Like, he's just thinking.
Well, this is a good lesson. It's important not to fall into the hands of evil, more important than becoming strong.
Being strong is also important if you're the chosen one, but good try. No, I'm just kidding. But she does say being strong is also important in this field, if that's the way you want to put it.
Oh, well, of course.
Your studies with me will revolve around you learning the darker truths of history. We will talk about all the fallen ones, one by one, so that you do not repeat their mistakes. We are a facility that will ensure our future is a bright one. I will not allow another fallen one to gain power.
Theo nods quickly. It's like, I appreciate that we're having the chance to learn all this. Really, if there is any additional sort of material, I would be happy to go over it.
You are free to come into the library, just stay away from the study on the top floor.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask why?
That's my study. Stay out of it.
Oh, just privacy reasons. Alright, that's fine.
Well, Mr. let us in.
I will have a talk with To be honest, he probably would have attacked you whether I informed them or not, so... is oddly defensive of, me in particular. It's a problem. We're working on it.
It's the cult!
Being defensive is fine. The violent part is my problem.
Well, you saw how violent he got. He's not much of a threat. He means well, but everyone, by the way, who works in this facility has a spark. Everyone, including him.
Is that what his little shadow clones were?
Yes, his spark, that is the most it has been able to develop.
And is he one of yours then, or...?
He has been here since the inception and returned after it closed. He doesn't have any interest in training or leaving the facility, so I offered him a job here instead. We do private studies. Between you and me, I don't think he has a possibility of being a chosen one, but it's good to be prepared.
Theo gives an uncomfortable smile. Just very uncomfortable.
He is near the end of his lifespan as a goblin, so I don't see him making it.
Theo's expression even more uncomfortable.
Shui saddens.
So was that the class?
Yes, this is a lot to take in, I'm aware. So, we can dismiss class for today. We'll have another lesson soon.
Well, it was a great lecture. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you all tomorrow.
So fallen ones are just chosen ones that went bad, essentially?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
They got Norded.
Got fucking Norded, indeed.
They got Norded.
Yeah.
Yep, and the very, very first chosen one was also the very first fallen one, so...
And the first necromancer, and the first cleric, and the first warlock.
A lot of firsts.
Person
The
really
first fucking
had...
problem. That's fine. I hope Shui can remember this. Are they going to be graded? Are they getting grades?
Who knows, are you?
Intelligence checks, let's see.
Gotta get an A to train with Peter. No, okay, sorry.
You do.
No, Shui will try so fucking hard.
If we do get tested, I hope Theo either does really well or does really bad. Because if he does really well, then it's like, aw, he's a smart boy. But then if he does really bad, then it's like, ha ha ha. Lol.
He'll be in the dumpster with everyone else.
He was overwhelmed with emotion by the fact this goblin was near the end of its life, that he just could not concentrate the rest of the week. Every time Ern walked in, he was like, you're gonna die soon. Like,
honestly, you know what? That is in character.
The classes for today, you guys were just taught for about 5 hours, essentially, was Estel talking about, mostly Carmentus. She did not mention any other fallen ones for that specific day. But you guys come back out, and you notice heading out of the library, you see a couple other of the training sparks running from a different area, which you see in the distance. Peter kind of waving at them at what appears to be a very big building with a lot of different religious symbols painted all over the exterior of it. But he seems to be waving more so in a way where he's trying to get them to leave, and they seem to be very fast running away.
Are they Naruto running?
Fucking, I don't know. They're not Naruto.
I can't believe you thought about it.
I had to think about who's with them. I'm like, which of them would Naruto run?
Which one would? There has to be one of them.
Riddle's Naruto running, the tabaxi.
Of course he is, that fucking
God
stupid cat. God.
Yeah, and they are running essentially towards the meal area.
They're eager to have their lunch, but I suppose it is late for it.
I want to see what's in that building. I wonder if we're allowed in. He starts, like, walking towards that building with all the religious symbols.
We will probably be, taken to it eventually. I'm sure you don't have to go,
But I want to see it.
Okay. No, sorry. No.
He sounded like he was gonna cry.
Yeah.
Theo faltered. Theo was like, oh, well, it's gonna be that way.
Avayath's just like, this is my one thing. Please.
Basically, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
I want to go with him, but Shui's not into it. Shui wants to go eat.
Theo also would like to eat.
So Avayath's going by himself.
Okay, yeah, Avayath will say, I'll join up with you guys in a bit.
I'll save you a seat, Yaya.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna actually go with Avayath. Brandy will like look down to Theo and be like, "Oh, I'll catch up with you. I'm kind of curious on this myself."
Okay. Just make sure to swing by. Don't forget to eat, please.
Right. He will head off. Did that count as a short rest, by the way, Cassidy?
Yes, we will count that as a short rest.
Cool. Spell slots back. Time to kill Avayath.
Come on, Theo.
Theo nods. His aura is less chipper, I suppose.
Oh.
So, Brandy and Avayath, you are approaching the church. Both of you roll perception checks as you are approaching.
5.
17.
Do I see it, Cassie? Do I see it? Cassie, do I see it?
He sees it with his Sharingan.
You do not see it, but...
Oh, wow, really?
Avayath, as you are approaching, Peter appears to be almost like distraught as he's like starting to go inside this building. You notice for a split second, you have not seen him unsheath his sword, but it appears he had his sword unsheathed a second ago. You see a bright flash of green that he quickly closes as he vanishes inside the building.
Oh, Peter looked distraught. Wonder what that was about.
Good question. Couldn't say.
Let's take a peek inside.
Sure. That seems like a good idea that won't backfire on us at all. Let's go on. Let's continue.
Avayath just kind of... He doesn't seem worried in the slightest because he's dumb. Peter had his sword out and he's just like, yep, that's normal.
This is why his armor's always on. He's too stupid to judge situations.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're approaching the church. Door is closed.
He knocks on the door.
You hear like scuttling kind of going around from inside. Sounds like a chair being knocked over. And then just from the other side of the door you hear, what do you want?
Hello there.
Sessions are closed for today.
Do you mind if we take a look inside?
I do. Go away.
Oh. Well.
Whoa, why is that?
If you want to repent, come back later.
I think we just wanted to give it a look inside, see what the facilities are.
Well, you'll have a chance to look at it later.
You alright there, partner?
I'm fine.
You seem a little stressed.
Can you tell Win where I am?
No. Not unless you let us inside.
You hear the door being locked.
Alright.
He'll find me eventually.
I could help you if you're hurt.
I'm not hurt.
You sure?
Yes.
Why did you have your sword out earlier? Are you sure everything's alright?
Everything is fine.
He just seems to like to pull his sword out on folks.
Well, I do too. It's fun. He pulls his sword out for no reason.
Alright.
He just starts swishing it around randomly.
Please, for the love of God, be careful with that thing.
Oh. Alright, I'll put this away, but... I would be interested in checking out sometime. Let me know when it's available.
You hear the sound of furniture being moved in front of the door.
Alright.
Oh, that seems a little overkill, but okay.
That seems a little excessive. What do you say, we head off or do we bust this fucking door down? He whispers to Avayath.
Can I have Avayath do an insight check on Peter?
Go for it.
He's not gonna do well. Oh, a 19!
He did very well.
A 19? So you're just trying to get, like, a basic idea of how he's doing, I guess?
If he's hiding something important and the nature of what he's hiding, if he can analyze that much.
Not when he's behind the door like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Avayath will tell Brandy, that doesn't seem necessary. Peter might just be a bit distraught. Breaking the door down, I think, will do more harm than good.
Yeah, alright.
It's funny how that was supposed to be by his whispering voice. It's just that loud.
Alright. Let's head off then, I guess. Meet up with the others. I do not... You get the same vibe that I get from this place?
Well, it feels like there are a lot of secrets being kept.
Yeah, I don't. Can't say I appreciate it all that much.
Well, we did learn about the Fallen Ones today. I have faith that it's for a good reason.
I don't know if that's the case. I feel like, a lot of secrets, if it's gonna cause people problems, I feel like they ain't worth keeping. It seems like these secrets are, starting to cause problems.
That's a good point. I do feel like they should, as potential chosen ones, we should know these things, but at the same time, I understand the fear of another fallen one.
Sure, but if too many secrets are kept, could lead to anger from folks, and maybe they'll end up falling regardless.
Yes, that's my concern too. I'm... not really sure.
I mean, maybe things will get better. It's the second day, it might just be the pessimist talking to me, but shit don't seem right here.
I feel the same way.
We'll skip over to Shui and Theo.
We're off to eat.
Yeah, Shui was probably leading, like in the front, as they were heading towards the, what do you call it? Is it a cafeteria or is it like something else?
It's an open area, so it's that little stage area with all the tables in front of it.
You said Theo looked kind of less chipper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see if Shui can perceive it. No.
Okay.
I rolled a 2.
It doesn't matter that much anyway.
He said Brandy's left. Sorry. So as you are approaching, Draga is with you, and she runs up immediately to Riddle, the cat, Tabaxi, and starts to talk to him at a separate table. He seems to be catching his breath after that long-winded Naruto run, and and you see Essence is also here, and she is off getting food and seems to be talking with Titus, and she is laughing, and he is like very nervously chuckling at whatever she's saying.
Me too. That is exactly how Theo would be acting if he was interacting with her. Just
And then you see Wynn looks like he's currently hanging out near the cook tent. He appears to be the only mentor here right now.
Shui is going to actually go over to Riddle.
I was gonna have Theo do that too, so Theo's just gonna be going with him. So
Draga's just going up, and you just hear as you go up, she's like, "You run so fast like that. Does it make you faster?" And he's like, "Yeah,
More aerodynamic.
makes me go super fast." Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, Riddle! And he kind of runs up to him. You trained with Master Peter, right?
Oh, today? Yes, we did.
How was it? Was it fun?
It was fine for a while.
what was the running for?
He told us to get out. He just got very upset.
Uh-oh.
Did you do something wrong?
Essence tried to take his sword off of him for some reason.
Oh.
She's like, that probably wasn't a good idea.
He did not take it very well, no.
But was that the whole reason you were running?
That was it. He just snapped, just told us to get out.
Yeah, okay.
Essence doesn't seem bothered by it.
No, she was laughing the whole time we were running away, too. Poor Titus, she seems to have attached herself to him.
Looks over at Titus. I want to perceive.
Go for it.
I'm sure she just didn't realize what an impact she made.
Or she was pleasantly surprised by the impact that she made. She seems to be having a great time messing with our cabin.
I rolled a natural 1. So Shui's just like, he looks to be having a good time though.
I mean, you didn't roll insight, you rolled perception, so you just can't fight. You're like, where's Titus? You said he was... You said he was over there, but I don't see him.
She's tall and he's short, right?
She's tall and he's kind of shorter, yeah. She was just like, is he behind that fish person? No, okay, sorry.
Wow.
But Shui's just like, I hope Master Peter feels better soon.
We're supposed to train with him the rest of the week, so I hope he feels better. I would hate to have every training session be with him in a horrible mood like that.
Yeah, and we're sort of in the tent right in front of him, so it would be great if he wasn't in a bad mood for that.
Godspeed, he has one hell of a temper.
Could not have predicted that. Well, I hope Brandy and Avayath are doing alright, considering.
Oh yeah.
And then they walk towards you. Here they are.
Yeah.
Thank you for saving a sheep for me. A sheet? What?
sheet.
Thank you for saving a seat for me, Shui.
Yeah, he says, and he hops up to give Avayath high five.
Avayath high-fives him very enthusiastically. Maybe a bit too much. Let me roll an athletics check.
Does he break his
See how
wrist?
overly rough he is.
21.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Too rough.
Do you want to roll to resist that, or do you want your arm to come off?
Can I roll acrobatics?
Don't you have a fucking +9 athletics?
Well, yeah, but...
So are you scared of tearing Avayath's arm off?
No. I will roll. I will roll athletics.
Let's see if he falls over first.
Alright, so that'd be a 23.
Oh, so you're
So
good.
you guys match each other. You hear Avayath's armor kind of as you hit it, and Shui's elbow kind of bends just a slight bit backward more, but you guys seem to it looks like two brick walls just fucking slamming into each other.
Yeah!
I guess if I will also point out, that was a really good high five.
Yeah, you too.
Draga claps her stones to applaud you for your good high five.
Avayath sort of playfully bows to that, and then he sits down.
Shui does it too when he sees Avayath doing it.
Draga's just kind of giggling at that. Riddle looks to your group and is just like, who did you all train with today?
Miss Estel.
Estel, oh, the one with the stick up her ass.
I wouldn't say that about our mentors.
He kind of shrugs a little bit at that.
And I'm sure there's more to it than that anyway.
Everyone here just seems super uptight all the time. Trying to have a decent conversation with any of the mentors just leads with them stuttering and walking away.
I think they're probably just trying their best to keep us all safe and keeping certain things for later.
They're not doing a good job of making us feel safe, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, not especially, I guess, but I'm sure that it will, they're doing their best, for the best for all of us, right? He looks up at the rest of the party.
Yes, I think they have a lot on their minds. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
For now, at least. If it persists, for a while, then I would grow, more suspicious.
You're right, it's day 2. I should be kinder. I did respond to their inquiry to invite me, so.
Theo shrugs, well, you had a valid reason to be upset, so.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of glancing around like he's looking for Peter to jump out at him or something.
Peter seemed a little uneasy today. You have any idea what that was about?
Yeah, the lady, the girl, what was her name? Essence. Apparently likes to pull pranks?
Oh.
That is very good.
Uh-oh.
Avayath hates pranks.
He was like, yeah, Peter's not a guy you pull pranks on.
She probably just didn't realize,
I don't think stealing a chosen one's weapon is a good prank.
Yeah, I know, that kind of sucks shit.
Well, you never know how someone may have been raised, whether they have been taught not to do certain things, so I'm sure it wasn't with any malice.
He looked like he was going to take her fucking head off, and he takes a swing of his drink, which he appears to just have pulled out a flask from somewhere.
He's very... Where'd you get... Never mind. He's very sword happy. He's very hilt happy, I would say. He seems very eager to pull that thing out on folks. He almost pulled it out on me the other night as well. I don't think it's a problem yet. I just think should be aware and cautious. Ain't a bad idea.
Yes.
But also very much don't go fucking stealing people's swords, because, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would not have chosen that as a little joke. But, again, you never know how someone might have been raised, so... you never know.
Yeah.
Theo and Brandy, both of you can make perception checks real fast.
Oh, that's not bad. 15.
That's not bad.
8.
No, that's not great.
I was just gonna say Theo was very nervous about the conversation, and then he went straight to eating his food nervously.
Brandy, you notice near the tent that Wynn is near, the like cooking tent or whatever, you see a very flustered looking Libris very quickly walking towards it and goes up and just kind of like smacks him on the shoulder and is talking too quietly for you to make out with that 15, but Wynn seems to like jolt at that, nods, looks very sheepish, and then kind of runs off towards the direction of the church. And you see Libris poke her head into the cooking tent and seems to be also speaking to the cook inside before she comes out huffing a little bit and goes to grab some food for herself.
Brandy, did you get food? Did you get your lunch?
Oh, no, not yet. I should go do that. I was just distracted. We just got here, that's all. I'll get something.
He like gives a nod to Theo.
Theo smiles triumphantly.
Is that in the direction of Libis?
Yeah, she's getting food right now.
Oh, perfectly staged. Sorry.
Yeah, Shui was eating, and he's just like, I don't know how anyone could forget to eat.
Yeah, well, the brand, he's just like this.
He will go up and start getting like food and look to Libris. He says,
Howdy, mentor?
Oh, hello.
Everything going alright?
She looks like she was lost in thought when you approached. She appears to have been like mindlessly stirring like a bowl of punch for a minute. Then she looks up at you and smiles and says, everything's just tense. Just a lot of people stressed around, I guess.
Yeah, I can tell. Apparently Peter drew his sword on some folks.
I didn't hear he drew it all the way, just started to.
Yeah. That's still pretty rough. What the hell's going on?
Well, you know, people have certain tendencies. He was a chosen one. He was involved in a lot of fighting. He just has some reflexes that he has to work on.
He also tried to pull it on me yesterday, too.
She glances at you and looks you up and down. Oh, he did. Why?
Because, I postured the idea that I might leave, and he seemed to really, really dislike that idea.
She kind of bites her lip.
To the point where he was threatening me with force.
I will have a conversation with him later about that. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
He's just on edge.
I was just curious, because it seems like he's putting furniture in front of the door of the church.
Again.
Oh, so this is this happens frequently.
I told you he was involved in a lot of fighting, and he has panic attacks, I guess, are the best way to describe it, and just needs to cool down for a bit.
I mean, I've been in a few fights myself, and I'm not sure that I respond quite the same way.
Well, Peter's case is special. She's like still stirring the punch.
Are you alright? You doing good?
Oh, yes, just have to monitor everyone else's jobs sometimes.
I see. Well, try and take it easy, I guess.
Doing my best. I don't have anyone I'm training this week, so that's good at least.
Yeah, sounds like it's for the best.
How did your training with Estel go, though?
There's a lot of talking. A lot of book reading.
She's been also stressed, but that's usual for Estel.
Yeah. Say, you wouldn't happen to know anything about this group that Estel started, would you?
Group? Oh, you mean the lasting eye.
Yeah, I don't want to call it what it is, because I want to assume the best, but...
It's a cult. You can call it a cult.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what's this cult shit that Estill has started then?
She kind of waves her hand a bit dismissively and she says,
One of those rumors that started decades ago. People claim that she started it. She claims that she didn't. And I'd like to believe my friends.
Do you consider her your friend?
I do.
Well, what is the whole situation behind it?
People made some accusations, some very nasty, rude accusations, that she started a cult to try and stay the chosen one.
I see. And what's the whole point of the cult now? It's still sticking around from what I heard.
It lingers. It's trying to find the next chosen one, I suppose, and still pursuing that same goal. They have the idea in mind that if you can keep a chosen one longer, they can do more good, that their time is cut too short.
So, like, what y'all are doing here, kinda?
No, we don't try and prolong the life of a chosen one or the span of a chosen one's time. We're just training for people to know what to expect.
And you think it's a good call to have the potential somebody with heavy cult connections of a cult that specifically goes after these chosen folks to be heading the program?
She says that she didn't start it, and I believe her.
See, that's nice and all, and I appreciate that you believe your friends, but you gotta understand the worry that instills, yeah?
I do, but she's been, as far as I know, as far as the world knows, she has not been in contact with them since the group started, so that's quite a few decades. They seem to have gone off on their own, doing whatever they want, and I mean, it's pretty easy to claim something like that. It just sounds like a big rumor to me.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
If you have the backing of a chosen one, I feel like people will take you more seriously. Estill was always a controversial figure, so I can see why she was an easy target.
Why is that?
People don't think she did enough. She could see the future. There were quite a few things that they thought she should be able to predict that she didn't.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, seems to be thinking a little bit, and she's like, You're doing your training right now with her, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you ask her about Vermona?
Okay. Sure. I can, do that, I guess.
She smiles a bit, and she's like, Estill likes to keep conversations about things in the library, where she has a little bit more control over who could overhear.
Right, yeah, she gave us some info she didn't want us sharing either. There are a lot of secrets here. What the hell's up with that?
That idea that controlling information will control panic, it's, again, one of Estill's things. She's the co-founder, so she can do what she wants, I suppose.
Y'all outnumber her, though. I believe that your votes count as much as hers do.
Yes, but Estill always seems to know a little bit more about what's going on, I guess, kind of what her ability entails, so she might have some more foresight.
Sure. Well, take it easy then.
You too. Your name was Brandy, right?
Yeah.
Brandy.
Consider, asking her to be a bit more forthright with us.
She's very overwhelmed right now. Give her a bit of time. I'll push her on talking about things more.
Well, just let her know that whatever that shit Peter gave me the other night that he pulled a sword on me for, that I ain't gonna drink it till I get an explanation as to what's going on.
She bites her lip at that, and it's just like, he gave you something?
Yeah. He gave me some god's little ichor or whatever. Something like that.
God's liquor.
Yeah. You can understand the hesitancy to put something I'm not aware of in my body.
Nope, I know exactly what that is. You should take it if he gave it to you, and he should tell us if he's giving it away.
Well, I'd like to know why he would have given it to me.
It's a body cleanser. It wipes out things from the body, so...
Like what?
I'll talk to Estill.
There y'all go again. Alright, it was good talking to you. I'm gonna get food. He walks off to get himself some food.
She kind of waves at you a little bit sadly at that.
Doesn't wave back. Gets food and goes back to sit with the group.
What was the group doing while Brandy was away?
Avayath would have his helmet off by now, eaten half of his food. Avayath, I don't know what they'd be talking about. I don't think he'd bring up his religion a fourth or third time. I don't remember at this point.
Oh, Draga's talking about it. She's like, and the rocks, you put them in the ground, and then when I make them go, it makes like a little platform on the ground. Like, here, I'll show you.
Oh, no, we don't need an example right now.
𝒸𝓅𝓒𝓒 would love this, and she like digging in there.
No, not here.
And then Brandy comes back over.
Howdy.
You got food. I'm glad.
Yeah, I got a little something.
What did he get?
You got bread and mashed potatoes.
Oh, good. Looks like a fine meal to me.
Yeah, it's, I figured I'd get something.
Nod, nod.
The chicken breasts they have here are amazing.
Theo got like pretty much meat and potatoes, pretty much.
So over the course of your first 5 days, you study with Estill in the library. You're brushing up on various points in history about learning things even the most knowledgeable of your group hadn't known. She tells you about another fallen one named Ambrose, who was the very first tiefling, who grew up within the walls of Blackpeak and forcefully converted neighboring villages to lesser-known patrons in hopes of weakening the main four gods. And then, besides that, most things elaborated on were already public knowledge, just with more insight from someone who appeared to know quite a lot of intimate details about all these events. She mentions a couple other fallen ones over the course of these 5 days that don't seem to be quite as standoutish as Ambrose and Carmentis. She does not mention anyone named Vermona during these 5 days, though.
It was Vermona.
Just jumping right into it. We'll say this is day 5. And Estill's kind of like, she has pulled up like some kind of blackboard that she's been like scribbling on with chalk as she's been explaining certain things about different chosen ones and fallen ones, and looks over towards you at that and frowns. We haven't gotten to that point in history yet.
Is that right?
Yes, we haven't.
Alright. Were you planning on telling us about this person then, or?
She kind of bites her lip a bit. Who told you about Vermona? Who told you to tell me that?
I mean, I've heard the name.
She squints at you at that. I don't think you would have heard of that without someone telling you here.
Well, secrets lead to more secrets, yeah?
She sets down her chalk and kind of goes and leans against the board and looks at your group. Vermona was the last known fallen one that we know about. She developed at the end of my reign as chosen one. I did not see her coming. She became a chosen one directly after me. But I don't think she ever was a chosen one. I think she was born a fallen one.
What does that mean?
Do any of you know about the old capital, the first capital?
Can I roll?
Go for it.
I'll roll too.
Just a me sweet little 7.
14.
Theo, you know its name. You know it was called 𝒸𝓂𝓒𝓒, and that's all you really can recall about it. It was something that was not very deeply discussed in your history classes at school. Brandy, you know that it was the very first capital city, and it was a place that was supposed to welcome all religious groups to join in one place as equals, and all other parts of the country were very pessimistic about this capital, and that's all you know about it.
Wasn't it called 𝒸𝓂𝓒𝓒?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Well, in 125, I believe there was a war that broke out between 𝒸𝓒𝓒 and Blackpeak. There were claims that 𝒸𝓒𝓒 was not as perfect as they wanted the world to believe. They welcomed everyone from all religions of all walks of life. At the time, that was a big deal. But apparently things weren't as what they appeared to be, and a war broke out trying to call them out, essentially, for their actions.
And after that, they closed their borders. No one was allowed into 𝒸𝓃𝓒e anymore, and at some point in the future after that, 𝒸𝓃𝓒e vanished. It disappeared, and ruins were left. All the people that were in it were gone without a trace. There was only one child left behind, crying in the rubble. And that child was Ramona.
Interesting.
That sounds so sad.
It was. People were not happy. It happened less than a month after I stopped being Chosen One, and people claimed that I should have known my abilities lasted a full year. But things are welcome to change, and up until that point, I thought I knew who the next Chosen One was going to be.
Who was it supposed to be?
It doesn't matter, because they're long gone. They didn't happen the way that I saw.
Are you still able to make predictions?
Yes, a bit. It's harder than it used to be. My predictions are less accurate.
So, the things you see don't always happen?
Not anymore. Up until that point, they always had, so it was quite the shock for things to have changed at the last second. I'm not sure if it actually was the case, but Ramona was blamed for the destruction of 𝒸𝓃𝓒e, and she also vanished for a time. There were instances where there were large craters that would appear out of nowhere, whole cities that would have chunks of them removed, people who were never heard from again, mountains that disappeared overnight. I don't know what happened to her.
But wasn't she just a child back then?
She was. Children can be chosen ones too.
But to be fated to be fallen from birth.
She was very young. No more than, I would say, 4 or 5 years old. I highly doubt she understood what she was doing at the time. But no one could find her to teach her how to do better. We only saw the destruction that she left.
Huh. Oh, why'd you bring up Ramona, Brandy?
I just heard the name.
She is considered my biggest mistake as a chosen one. Something I should have seen coming a mile away. Some people say that maybe I just didn't want to hurt a child, and so I left her. It's the general consensus.
They can't blame you for that, can they?
They can, and they do. A lot of people are gone. A lot of people lost ancestors and families.
I'm sure he's not very happy. He's like, but she's just a kid. So he's quiet for a bit as he's kind of taking in this information.
Destiny isn't always kind, but I don't think it was your destiny to make a mistake. I think that this child, it was just her unfortunate fate, not yours.
Accidents happen, but being able to see the future means I am able to make direct choices to change it. So perhaps I made the wrong choice.
Whatever choice you made, that is what fate intended.
Sure hope so. Why don't we dismiss class for the week?
The second she says that, fucking Brandy's gone. He, leaves immediately.
Theo scurries along because he gave her a sullen nod at that, and he just scurries behind Brandy. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Is he?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's easy to tell.
Theo, kind of pats his arm and is like, it's okay to talk about it.
No, it's alright. I'm fine. It's nothing. I'm good. I'm just having an off day.
Brandy, please don't shut me out.
No, I don't know. The whole last bit, I shouldn't have opened my mouth.
However you became curious about it, you couldn't have known what kind of, I guess, emotions could have come up.
Yeah, but if I just fucking kept quiet, I wouldn't have.
We're all curious.
It's fine. Look,
We're all curious about so many of the things here. You don't have to feel bad for asking a question.
He just kind of keeps walking, doesn't really say anything in response.
He will walk next to him and sort of just pat his arm a few times.
So, Shui is still in the library with Estel. And he's kind of quiet for a bit. She just missed class, but he's sitting there for a while. He's just like, "Hey, Mentor Estel, you've been around for a long time, right?"
Are you calling me old?
No, just, really experienced?
Yes, I've been around for a while.
Have you heard of the Nine?
She kind of cocks her head a little bit at that, and she's like, not for a long time, but yes, I have.
Shui, his eyes kind of twinkle, and he gets like really excited. My parents were a part of the Nine, but they disappeared a long time ago, and that's when Master Dashi took me in.
Well, all of the Nine disappeared a long time ago. I'm glad that you found someone to take you in, though.
He smiles and he says, "I'm glad too. Master Dashi's great. She's like an aunt to me. But I was wondering, have you ever met my parents?"
I met most of the Nine. Over time, I'm sure I did at some point. I apologize that things start to run together at a certain point.
In this time period or whatever, are pictures a thing?
Paintings, but not like, you can't. The most advanced technology is like a clock.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like a drawing or something like that. I can't remember how they look. So he bites his lip and he's like, "Do you think there's a picture of them?"
I can try and find one.
"Thank you," he says, and he like bows deeply, and he kind of coughs a little bit. Do you think I could get some of that God's liquor?
Why do you want... What? Where did you hear that?
Oh, Master Peter said it was like medicine, and I think I might be getting a little sick, so I was...
He mentioned... Did he give one of you God's liquor?
Yeah, I think he gave it to Brandy. I thought Brandy might have had a cold or something.
Roll an insight check.
Oh wow. What the hell? 19.
19. Good job, Shui.
Oh, wow.
She looks pissed.
Oh.
She looks super mad.
Wow, good job. She's furious.
The second that you say he gave it to Brandy, she looks so stressed and so mad all at once. And it's like you instantly catch on to it. And she's like gripping the back of the chalkboard at this point and kind of staring at you. And she's like, "I see. He did he?"
Oh, did I say something wrong?
"Oh no, you said something perfectly right. He should have told everyone about this. No, that is for special cases. You can't have any."
So, is Brandy gonna die?
No, Brandy's not going to die. Peter might, but Brandy's not.
No. Shui looks afraid of Estel. He's like, "No, you can't.
I'll talk with him. I will have a conversation shortly. If Peter says anything else to you, would you do me a favor and just come have a conversation with me?"
Okay. If no one gets in trouble.
No, of course not. Won't get in any trouble. I just want to have a conversation with him.
She's just like, is Brandy gonna be okay?
Brandy's going to be fine. If he was just given God's liquor, then he's going to be perfectly fine. As long as he drinks it. Has he been drinking it?
I don't know. What does it do?
It is a cleanser. It cleans out the body.
Oh, so he like ate something bad or something, right? Maybe that's why he doesn't eat as much.
Think of it like a purifier of a sort.
Okay. Is Shui the only one in this room that Avayath Lee already?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Was Avayath here the whole time? I don't know.
I was assuming Avayath left based on this conversation because he hadn't said anything.
Yeah, I think we'll assume he left because it would be weirdly quiet of him to just be there the whole time.
Yeah.
He just turns into one of those, the statue armor.
He goes into a back corner.
They just think that's what he is for a while because he hasn't said anything or moved.
The ultimate stealth check.
I think it will work too. Like, that's the funny thing.
I heard the whole thing.
Sure, fuck it. If Avayath ever tries to hide in a museum, he'll get advantage. Everyone remember this.
Write that down, Jay. Don't let Cassie fucking forget. It'll be useful.
The museum arc, you know it's coming. Did you have anything else to say to Estel?
Yeah, he was like, purifier. He was gonna ask Avayath what purify. Whatever.
But Avayath's not here.
Yeah, he's not. And he's like, right, okay. He gets up and he excuses himself. Offers her a little bow, and he's like, thank you for talking to me.
Of course, I'll look into seeing if I can find any materials on your parents.
He gives her a big, big smile.
How old are you, Shui?
I'm hold on. I'm 19.
She looks pained at that, and she's like, quite a young age to lose your parents.
He doesn't look too saddened by that. Actually, he doesn't like kind of lose his smile too much, but he's like, it's okay. My parents, they were heroes.
Gives a tight smile and nods.
Yes, well, I'll be seeing you then in lessons later to come.
He gives her a big wave and then he leaves or runs out.
I'm here crying out for you, so you'll find me at last and wipe away our past. Even now, falling towards something beyond this new script. The show starts with us.